The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. This is Irina, and our weekly show Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina. And today I have a great guest with me today. It's Stacy Jackson, and she is a designer, musician, and so many other things. Stacy, why don't you say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
So I hope everybody's doing great. It's Friday. It's the best day of the week. So I don't think it's too much. People can complain on that day. So how was your week? How was your day?
Oh, well, my day was very productive. I was busy in front of the computer all day today. It was one of those days.
Okay. And I see that being designer doesn't mean just the fashion shows all the time. It's a lot of behind the screen computer work.
Yeah, I'm a software engineer as well.
Oh.
So I design websites in addition to clothing.
I see.
Every day.
So what came first, computer work or the designer, the fashion designer?
Well, I learned how to crochet first when I was about 10 or 11 years old. But I would say the computer work came first, and then fashion design came after that. But I've known how to crochet for most of my life.
So how did you come up with that idea to start your own business?
Well, I've always wanted my own business of some sort. But I just started, instead of making plain old, blankets and the typical granny stuff, I started making things that were small and cute, like bikinis and handbags. Yes, and handbags and jewelry and stuff like that. So I decided to sell it after getting so many compliments about my work and people wanting stuff.
So there was a need. Actually, people keep asking you.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how long does it take to create a design, like for like a custom bikini, for example?
A bikini will take about 8 hours maybe to put together, depending on the size, how intricate it is. A couple of my bikinis are pretty small, so they could take about 4 to 5 hours. I do these bracelets, these beaded bracelets. These are crocheted, and these take about good 8 hours. It takes a long time to string the beads and then crochet them on, but
so are you just doing bikinis or?
Oh no, I do jewelry, so accessories, clothing. I have this sweater on that I made. What else? Yeah, and hats. Pretty much almost anything, and I will do blankets if I have to, but it's not something.
It's not where you have it.
No. Mm-mm.
And by the way, I know you probably wondering what the Stacy's top looks like or the bracelet looks like. So now is a great time to join us on Facebook Live. Please go to our page Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina, and you'll be able to see me and beautiful Stacy in the studio. So you'll have a chance to ask us questions as well, and send us your likes. Love and comments. We like to know that we are not alone here, and we always enjoy people joining the conversation. So find us on Facebook once again. It's Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina. Irina is spelled I-R-I-N-A because I'm Russian, as you know. And please look at us. We look gorgeous today. And I see somebody just joined them. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
So everybody else, tune in and log in on Facebook and join our session. So back to you, Stacy. So you are also working on the computers. Mm-hmm. How does the creativity goes along with just sitting still in front of a computer for hours? Or
it's the same thing.
It's the same. Actually, you're a web designer, so it's still a lot of creativity involved, right?
Yes. In addition to just designing, though, I am a programmer, so it's a lot of technical stuff and a lot of numbers and counting, which crochet is as well. It's not too far off, and actually, a lot of people that are into programming are crocheters or actually they're musicians. I'm sorry,
but okay.
There's a lot of people who are very technical who still enjoy the creative craft of crocheting just because of the numbers involved and the stitch patterns and all the stuff you need to take into account.
I've never crocheted. I'm not really good at craft.
Really?
You know, I tried knitting at some point. I actually started knitting a scarf as a child when I was 11, and it was a gift from my dad. I gave him that gift at least on 4 different occasions. You know, on Christmas he got like 1/4.
Oh, okay. It was a build along.
That was a long process, and then his birthday's in April. By April, he got about a half of it. So it was a long process. So you know, when you're telling me that you can make a bikini piece in 1 week or so,
oh, yeah,
or in a couple hours, something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm start remembering my knitting experiences.
Yeah, knitting takes a long time. I can knit, but it's not my forte. But you know, the best patterns come from Russia. The best crochet patterns are Russian and Japanese.
Wow.
I wish I could read Russian because I missed out on a lot of good patterns. Actually, I'm going to bring them to you.
Yeah, I can always translate for
Yeah.
you. So, because I remember, like, my grandmother, she lived in the country and they didn't have TV back then, and they had a lot of free time. So she actually crocheted a lot, and she was doing a lot of embroidery too. So her house was full of handmade pieces, and I actually even got some as a gift from her after she passed away a couple of years ago. So my dad actually brought me some of the pieces from her house. So that was very sweet. You know, like I hope maybe one day when I get older and I have some more free time, because right now I feel like I want to do something creative like that, but I'm just can't find time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know how you do it, because I know you as a designer have to organize your shows, fashion shows, find your models, promote your shows, create new collections. How do you manage to do all that?
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet.
You work as a web designer.
Yes.
And it's just, to me, it's just amazing how you can keep all those balls in the air at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think I should do it too much because I had a slight health scare because I was doing too much stuff. And I think, frazzled out for a spell there. So I'm trying to not do as much anymore, but that's going to be hard for me because I'm a control freak, I think, and like to be, taking the reins of everything that I do. I just had a show recently that I did put together all by myself.
And I saw a lot of photos from that show. That was gorgeous.
Yes,
actually.
It was fun.
So it was your first show you put together?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And was it just your pieces, or
No, I had 12 designers, 12 crochet designers.
Wow.
Well, 11 crochet designers and 1 embroidered lace designer.
Wow. So you didn't just do yourself. You brought a lot of other people to be able to expose. Wow. I had no idea.
Yes, because we're all in different lanes. Even though it's crochet, none of us do the same thing.
Right.
There's another designer, though, who I think she's amazing, Aisha Frazier. She makes swimwear, and she's awesome. I swear, she makes me sick because she's so awesome. I love her.
So was she part of the show as well?
Yes, she was.
Wow,
yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember, so we actually, I think I should go back, and we met with Stacy about a year ago, right?
Yeah, Natasha.
With Natasha Simmons, her swimwear collection.
Yes, it's been about a year, yeah.
Yeah, about a year. So, yeah, that was interesting. I love your designs because it's just magic to me how they feed girl who is size 0 and the girl who is size, I don't know, 10, 12, If you haven't seen Stacey's designs, yes, please go to our webpage. We shared a lot of links and some of the photos from the most recent photo shoot, I think. But you will see some amazing pieces, and Lady Summer is right there on the step of, I mean, I don't know how it's,
we're almost there.
We're almost there. I mean, Atlanta weather was freaking out a little bit. I mean, we went from spring to winter probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 times in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, and I just come back from Chicago, and it's also like one day I'm wearing the coat over there, and the next day it's coat is not necessary. So, but today I think it was nice and warm here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was.
So I was looking at the swimming pool thinking maybe I should go and get some tan.
Right. At least get it today, because tomorrow you never know what it's going to bring.
Who knows? Maybe winter will be back.
It might snow.
Well, you know what? Actually, when I was in Chicago last week, we were supposed to drive to Milwaukee. and we actually couldn't because it was like 6 inches of snow,
Mm-mm.
and that was last week, and it's
April.
April.
Wow.
May is almost here, so yeah. But anyways, I if you somewhere in the south or you're planning to go to beach, which I know you probably will during the summer, check out Stacey's designs. I think they're amazing and very beautiful. And as I said, it's just fantastic how they fit. They're for everyone.
Yes, they stretch. My swimwear stretches to fit you. And then she's right. I have models that are size 2 wearing one piece, and a size 12 model can wear the same piece without any difference in the look of the outfit.
Right.
So.
And it's amazing because, well, you have some days when you feel super skinny and some days when you had some ice cream.
Right.
I'm guilty of that. So you want to make sure that everything fits well. I actually have this dilemma sometimes, it's like an unexpected photo shoot or, some film shoot, and sometimes you have to provide your own pieces or wardrobe, and I'm just going, oh my gosh, like last week it fit perfectly, today it's not. And I have to film tomorrow.
Like run up those stairs real quick, run up and down the stairs.
All kinds of tricks,
Yeah, I'm noticing that pounds don't come off as fast anymore.
My gosh, no,
as age has gone.
I feel like right now when I just pass the food or smell it, it ends up on me somehow.
Yes. Yes, I'm going through that too.
So yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to stay active, but sometimes it's temptations. I think sugar is my biggest thing. Like, what's yours?
Sugar, red
wines,
and Doritos. Yeah. And my problem is that I sit too much from crocheting. Either crocheting, I'm sitting, or if I'm on the computer working, I'm just sitting. So I have to get more active, and that's what I'm trying to incorporate into my life.
Yeah, we try to exercise too, but sometimes I'm still trying to get where I'm on the road and I still keep my regime because it's really hard. When I'm at home, it's kind of easier because my studios are all closed, like my yoga studio, kickbox, and everything is closed. But when I'm on the road, I kind of get off the regime, and it's hard for me to think about work and working out and keeping my diet at the same time.
Right.
It's a skill.
Definitely. Yeah. Traveling just alone just kills everything because you don't eat the same. It's hard to eat the same because you're not.
And I didn't realize how actually lucky we are here in Atlanta, having so many choices of even groceries and restaurants. I was struggling in Chicago. I'm sorry.
Really?
It was even not in Chicago, in Indiana.
Yeah.
I find out what it means, a food desert. I've never heard of that before. I never experienced it, but it's when you have to drive almost 30 miles to the closest grocery store. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We have at least 7 grocery stores within 3 miles. I mean, those are really blessings you only recognize when you travel more, So I was driving for my salads for a couple miles, quite a long way. But I need my salads. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I was going to say I lived in the Mid-South once, and I've lived in one of those food deserts.
Really?
And being the picky eaters that we are, was really difficult to shop.
Yeah, because I'm trying to eat organic, and I needed something not fried, something like salads and fruits and vegetables, and this was a little bit of a struggle. I had to make a long trip to get what I needed, but I got it. Right. We figured it out. So you told me you're actually traveling for business too.
Yes.
To Oklahoma, you said, right?
Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska.
Omaha.
So are you trying to set up a show there, or
no, not Nebraska?
It's out. Well, I'm sure they wear bikinis there. So.
When? I'm just kidding, Omaha. No, I would like to set up a show in Los Angeles, though. That is something I'm working on. So we'll see how that goes. I'll find out more next weekend.
And I know you've been to Fashion Week in New York. Were you with your designs or with your children? Because I know your children are modeling, right?
They tried it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's the route I want them to go. This industry is a bit brutal.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if that's what I want for them. So, but they did get to experience Fashion Week and walk in it. It was really nice.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that. So, did you go with a group of other designers? Or
I went with, actually, it was a group for the girls. They were all going up. All of the the girls were going up there to walk in various shows, and that was our purpose.
Okay, so did you already have shows scheduled before you got there, or you were also going through the casting calls?
Both.
Both? Okay. So
Yes.
how
Yes.
was the experience of casting calls? And
It was good for the kids, yeah. I mean, they all got picked, so it was good, you
But,
know.
I mean, for you probably guys trying to get from place to place. So it was
Luckily,
probably
everything
challenging.
we did was in the same hotel.
Oh,
We didn't
okay.
we,
Okay,
we didn't
that's
have to
good.
do all that. So
'Cause I hear sometimes from people how they have to run to 20, casting calls on the same day from one end of the city to another,
it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, New York is a lot to begin with, but having a fashion show and, going to casting calls, and that's a very challenging. What advice would you give to parents who are trying to start with their children in modeling?
I don't have any advice. Just have thick skin and swim through the nonsense. I couldn't really do it very well. I'm not really good with being fake. So you just have to swim through the nonsense.
Yeah, and I think fashion industry and fashion shows, people don't realize because they only look at pretty people working that runway in a pretty clothes, and they don't realize all the stress and all the behind the scene work. And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I prefer to be on the designer side. I would never ever want to be a model. My hat's off to all you models because I couldn't do it. Like I prefer to be on the picking side. And
well, you as a designer, you do a lot of casting calls, and for those models who are actually listening to us, when you're trying to pick the models, of course it's a look, right? You're looking for the special look, but what other qualities you find most attractive in models and must for you as a designer?
Confidence, but not arrogance, if that's possible, which it is. And just uniqueness.
Uniqueness of the look, you mean?
The look and personality, You don't have to be perfect to be a model at all. That's one thing I definitely have realized in this industry. It's like, it's not about that. But just confidence and just the ability to walk as well. So,
and ability to present the clothes as if you're actually enjoying being
in them
on the runway, enjoy wearing the
yes piece. I've never had a problem with any of my models not. I've always and it was funny because at my show all of the models were so happy to be wearing crocheted clothes because it gave them hips and it was so clingy that everybody was excited about what they had on. So I've never had to experience models not being happy with
I mean, you have beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying, sometimes you actually have to fake it as a model.
I know. I've seen some of the works out there.
and I think I'm sometimes just like you. I'm not really good at faking. I'm trying my best. But sometimes, when I need to go to a casting call, and I'm trying to look at the designer pieces and even decide if I want to be a part of it.
Right.
Because I've been to several shows where when I put designers' pieces on, my inner critic cannot come down. It's just, I know it's not very professional of me. And I work the show and I try to do it, but I'm just like deep inside in my head, I'm saying like, it's harder when you're not enjoying wearing something.
When you can't convince yourself to pull it off,
Right. So it's a little bit of a challenge. So, I've learned for myself to do a little bit of research, make sure that I love the pieces, because when you're in love with what you wear, it just goes through your presentation, through your character, through your work. You're like, wow, I love what I have on right now.
Right.
And usually I'm lucky to have these kind of pieces, but sometimes I've been on like one or two shows where I was struggling. That was hard.
Yeah. Most of the designers here in Atlanta, though, do pretty good work. I haven't seen anything atrocious, but I've seen some shows where I'm like, really? The models really had to fake that one to pull it off.
Yeah. And what do you think about the designer scene in Atlanta? Is it oversaturated, or there's a room for growth for designers? What is your opinion? Is it?
Can I plead the fifth?
Well, I mean, your honest opinion. opinion, because I think some people maybe have some ideas, but they kind of hold it back. Like, I mean, if you were like looking back, what would you do differently, like in this industry with your business? And what did you learn based on your experience? Maybe I'd recommend those who just thinking about putting something together.
What would I do differently? I'm still in the beginning stages. I wouldn't say that I've even halfway arrived. I'm like halfway down the block.
But you did quite a few shows,
yes,
and you promoted your line.
What would I do differently? Nothing so far. I mean, my show sold out, so that was good. Mm-hmm. My first show sold out. I would just be picky about who you deal with. You can't just deal with everybody who's giving opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I've noticed or I have learned is you have to be selective.
And what would you look for? So you've been selective with those people who organize your show or models or?
With the people who are organizing the show and with the models, I haven't had any issues with models. I know some of them have such colorful personalities.
That's a good way.
But I like that their personalities is what makes them good models. Right. So what would I do different? Just be careful who you associate with. That's it. Just pay attention to what you're hearing. I would say do your research. Yes,
probably.
Absolutely.
Look maybe at previous work, because there is some information on YouTube and photos on social media, so kind of gives you an idea of quality of production and what to expect. Right. And I mean, it's sad, but I think in this industry some people think in a very short term, like they might have some promises they don't deliver on, or they just kind of they don't understand that you will cross your paths with those people probably again and again and again, because we're all in the same industry.
Yes.
And some people, unfortunately, don't consider that.
Yes.
As I noticed. I mean, I personally didn't have too many experiences, but I think I know what you're referring to. That's when, show either not organized very well, when, you were given the promises of, you're having your hair done. I'm just looking at the model, as a model, like, I'm signing up for the show and I'm told my makeup will be done, my hair will be done, and then last minute you find out that, well, suddenly everybody canceled, why don't you take care of it yourself?
Wow.
And it's good if you know how to do that, but if not, it's not. Or, you are told that you will get quality photos out of the show, and then you never hear from the photographers again.
Right.
And, things like that. I mean, unfortunately, I understand everybody's busy, and it's a lot of it's collaboration based, and it's not a lot of it for free. People don't realize how much of it is free.
Right,
actually.
and I want to say something about that. Mm-hmm. When things are free, you get what you pay for.
Right.
So I would recommend, if you can afford it, pay your people. Mm-hmm. I mean, because people are motivated by money. I mean, period, right. And they want to be recognized for their services, because a lot of times you're not going to get that recognition, or that exposure that was promised to you or whatever, but the money helps.
Right. And I also think sometimes it's even just a swag bag or like a gift card, something very little, but yes. At least you let your people know that you appreciate their effort and,
yes.
Their time. And it's a little thing that sometimes make a difference.
Yes.
That's what I learned from the industry here.
Right. Yes. I tried my best to treat my models with respect. I try to feed them. My last show, I didn't do everything I wanted to do, because I was being that one, I was thinking that I was an island and I could do it all myself, and I won't do that again.
You definitely need some people you can rely and delegate stuff.
Yes.
It's impossible to try to control everything at once. You cannot be on backstage in front of the stage and on the sides of the stage and the
can't deal with vendor. You can't you cannot. And I realized that.
Well, it comes from the experience. I was actually considering putting together a pageant here. I was approached by people from Italy, which they have a very prominent pageant over there, and they tried to get into the United States, and they offered me a chance to do exclusive pageant here, have exclusive right for the pageant. And when I start thinking about it, like, okay, I never put together a show myself. And I just start going in my head, okay, what is going to be involved in that process? You know, as you said, vendors, you know, castings, organizing, sponsors, this and that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much work. I don't know if I can pull it off. Definitely not by myself. I mean,
and the thing is, it was a lot of work, but it wasn't. It was all fun to me. It was just the day of the show. There was only one me, and there needed to be at least 10. You know, people were calling me. You know, there just needed to be a lot more than just me, because I couldn't split into the vendor area, and you know, I just couldn't do it all. So.
Well, but it's how you learn. You know?
Yeah, it is.
And there are people who I know organize fashion shows and events for a living. It's an actual profession, you know. And sometimes it sort of makes sense to actually hire somebody to be in charge of certain parts, you know, at least. Somebody who you trust and who work you've seen before. So,
right.
So
that's the hard part.
That's the hard part. Somebody who you really trust,
right?
You know, who is professional. It will deliver the results that you expect up to your standards. And I know you have very high standards. So.
I try.
But I mean, most of the people, they want to be associated with quality,
right?
You know, so.
And that's what I attempt to pull off as best as I can, is quality and, you know, just goodness too, you know, all around. I want my shows to be remembered for their uniqueness and for the good time and the relaxed time that was had by all, you know,
besides
from the
yourself.
right. Yeah, besides me. Who cares about what I feel? But you know, I want the models to be cool. I want the vendors to be happy. I want the designers to be happy. The makeup artists, I want everybody to be happy. No strife. You know, I've been in shows where it's just like
stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Well, so you mentioned that in the future you want to do the show in LA, right? But my question is, like, do you right now create all your pieces by hand?
Yes.
Alone. So if you have, how do you plan to, you know, expand? I mean, do you have something laid out when you have, for example, hundreds, you know, pieces to order, and or it's going to be always, you know, very unique pieces done by hand for individual orders? Like, how do you envision that?
I just right now custom orders, but I also have a new line of shirts. I don't know if you've seen my Hooker Life line.
I've seen some very fun posts.
Yes.
Yes, but I didn't know if it was part of the show you were organizing or it's actually your...
Well, it's my line. It's the Hooker Life. It's all crochet related, even though it might not sound like it. But because of the fact that it takes so long to crochet, and I can't always, you know, have a lot of pieces. I can't produce a lot of pieces in a small amount of time. I added another product to what I'm doing, which is still centered around crochet and being unique and clever.
It's a very funny. Did you come up with all the slogans yourself? Oh my gosh, they're so funny, guys. You need to check out Stacey's website and Facebook, social media, and Instagram pages, because there was a lot of funny, you know, little slogans about hookers and those who are crocheting. And I was like, that's very fun, you know. But I had no idea that you actually created all that. Wow,
I did.
That's great.
Yes, I got me a little die cutting machine and some vinyl. So yep, I'm making shirts now too.
Well, and you know, it doesn't have to be mass produced. You know, like some pieces are unique. For example, I have a friend designer in Miami who does a hand painted silk pieces, and they're unique. They're one of a kind.
Right.
Like, and they sold very well. I mean, of course, there's a lot of, you know, promotion involved and a lot of, but, you know, they branded those pieces, and they created the image for those pieces that you will have one of a kind, unique piece, which nobody in this world will have.
Yep, that's exactly.
So it doesn't have to be, you know, there are different strategies for designers.
Yes.
Somebody will, you know, put together a unique collection, and you have a owner of owning this one piece.
Right.
You know, nobody else will have.
Yes, that is exactly my business model. Nobody will be rocking your stuff. Everything is unique. I refuse to make pieces that look like anything that I've already made. I won't do it.
Right, right.
It could be a different color. It could be a slight, change in the design, but I won't make the same piece twice.
Yeah, and I think in our world of mass production, people do look for that uniqueness.
Do they?
I believe so, because I think you take more pride in knowing that you own one of a kind piece, especially as you become more unique as a person yourself. I think that need is growing.
I hope, because I see so much trendy stuff that
No, absolutely.
I'm so anti-trend. Like, I'm not a trendy person.
Nothing wrong with those places, but I cannot find anything that I want to add to my wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
I have a limited wardrobe space. Let's put it this way. Well, I'm very picky because I like to have one of a kind things.
Mm-hmm. You don't want anybody in
and
your
there are
clothes.
quite a few people who feel the same way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's probably because I grew up in Soviet Union as a child, and I remember my birthday, I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I had 20 kids in my house. It was winter. I was born in January, so we had 20 kids, and we all had the same coats. The only difference was blue or green. So when those kids were trying to go home, it was a long process finding your own coat. So I think from growing up, in a situation where you cannot express your individuality. I know in the US it's different,
right.
But still.
Somewhat.
That was an extreme.
Right.
That was kind of an extreme, but that I remember that so clearly because I was 6 years old, but this whole process of finding your code and trying to figure out which code. The only way we were able to do it is by the content of the pocket.
That is so funny.
If you had something in your pockets, you knew it's your code.
Okay.
But to me, it's an extreme, of course, but I always wanted to be different,
Right.
But I think trends fade away. They go up and down,
Right,
But
they do.
one of a kind piece, you will wear it for years, and you will enjoy it, and you just build the history with that.
Right. Exactly.
So, I don't think it's. I think it's a good strategy, especially for artists who do stuff, like you, like handmade stuff.
Right.
Like, it might take you a couple hours, couple days, or couple months, but it's a piece, and you just put a price tag there.
Yes.
Without being ashamed or shy about it.
Right. That's the part I'm getting over. Like, I always I apologize for my prices, and I have to stop doing that.
Absolutely not. Because people who are appreciating uniqueness, they're okay with the price tag.
They are.
And I'm coming to the conclusion there's so much money in this world. And it's a mistake to live with those limitations in your head that there is not enough. There's plenty for everybody, and you just need to find your customers. And I think that's what some designers and some businesses don't realize, that if you are struggling don't be shy to put the price tag on what you spend time on and you invested your knowledge in, because there will be people who will pay that price, Now, if you're doing something that can be mass produced by your neighbor, that's a different story.
Right.
Because you're producing the same thing, and you can compete based on the price. But if you're making one of a kind piece, which this person cannot make, I cannot make it top like yours,
Right.
Would I want to have a top like yours? Absolutely, but I cannot make it.
Right.
So yeah. But what other challenges do you find for designers? As being a designer,
just getting your name out there,
promoting yourself.
Yes, and I realize you have to spend money promoting. You have to. Even with Facebook and Instagram, I still spend money on ads to get the word out, because just even having the following is always not enough. You have to push it outside of your following sometimes. So just the challenge of getting yourself out there.
So what did you find is the most productive, or the best way to promote yourself?
I don't know if I should say this on camera, but okay, on Instagram, well, of course, social media, Instagram, Instagram has been my best return on investment.
Right.
But advertising through Facebook to Instagram, not directly through Instagram, if that makes sense. Because on Instagram, you have to have a business page in order to advertise.
Mm-hmm.
But having that business page, it seemed to me my views went down when I turned it over to a business page. But the minute I turned it back to regular, views went back up. But if you start an ad through Facebook and your Facebook is linked to your Instagram page, there's a checkbox that says run this on Instagram, and you run that on Instagram, so it'll run your Instagram page as an ad as well without it being a business page. And that has given me the biggest exposure.
I see. So is it possible? I know that people use Instagram to monetize a lot. Like they use it even like their merchant side, with the price tag and everything.
Yes.
And they found it very effective. So is it effective for you as well?
I don't. I haven't had any sales through Instagram per se. Well, I get my actual sales through Facebook, honestly. So, well, I got a message today that somebody wanted a swimsuit through Instagram, but I don't actually get the sales, but I get the exposure.
Well, which is very important.
Yes, and which is what I'm usually shooting for instead of sales. Like for my show, I needed the exposure, which did end up turning into sales on the day of the show. So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I liked the whole Facebook, Instagram.
And I think many people who are starting their own business, they sometimes underestimate the impact of social media. I think it's a tool that you shouldn't ignore.
A lot of people underestimate it. Like I meet so many people, they're like, I'm not on Facebook. Like if you have a business,
you have to be there.
It's like the new Yellow Pages. Why wouldn't you be on? I mean, it's free for the most part. Having a business page is free.
Right.
It only costs you money to advertise. And then it doesn't even cost you that much money to do that because you can control how much you spend. So, yeah, business people that don't have social media, I'm just like, why not? Like, there's this one particular person I bought a body cream from her at a show, but she doesn't have social media, and I have no way to get in contact with her because her information rubbed off the label.
Oh no!
And she's like, no, I don't do it on Facebook. Like, well,
you're
missing out on a huge market.
Even if you're in some of the profession, which is not as a designer, but for example, if you're a model or if you are an actor or actress, you absolutely have to be on social media because some people's like, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, guess what? It's part of your business. Either get your manager or get yourself a social media manager or do it yourself. But you have to be, it's part of it. It's part of the process nowadays.
Right.
You can't ignore that.
One challenge I do find, and it's petty, but models who want to friend me on Instagram, well, not want to friend me, when I put out a model call or whatever, and they tag themselves to my model call, and I go to their page and it's private. I'm like, no. In my heart, models shouldn't have private Instagram pages. It's like,
well, you can have. I mean, I have two.
Right, exactly.
I have a private page which I share,
your personal stuff.
Kids,
right?
Kids, something I don't want to get exposed in public, and I have public page, which is. You have to control your image at a certain point. You don't want to put 1 a.m. photos with your friends at the nightclub. Not always.
Right.
At least, So, I mean, it totally makes sense to separate your private life and, your business life. But I do think as a model, yes, it's a must to have a page because that's how you promote yourself.
Yep.
And I think some people don't realize that, but every time you are part of the event or you are connecting with somebody, by tagging each other, you cross-exposed each other to each other's followers.
Right.
And that brings each one of you new followers.
So
you have to do it as much as possible. So I know social media takes a lot of time, but
it does.
I'm trying to automate it as much as possible. And I know there are tools for that, but yes, it still is an investment of your time. And you don't want to get distracted, because it's also very easy. So, you have to be very disciplined about scheduling stuff and just doing it for work. But at the same time, yes, it's a part of your profession.
I find myself reading comments. I'll say, okay, I'm going to read comments for 5 minutes.
Maybe
that's it, right? And then I have to stop and then go on about my business. But yeah, you can get distracted on social media, but it's an absolute necessity in today's market. I mean, why not?
I try to do it when everybody else is asleep, because if I show up there and like at lunch hour, I will get so many comments and messages and people trying to interact with me. It's like, no, I don't have time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but there's those peak hours where you have to communicate with people.
Well, that's why yes. And, when it comes to business or acting or advice, I am happy to do that. But there are some people who just have a lot of free time, and they send me 25 cards wishing me a happy day, and it's fantastic. I appreciate it. I can thank you maybe once, maybe twice, but if you keep sending me every time I say something, and you keep sending me cards over and over and again, unfortunately, I don't have hours to respond to that. So,
I wonder if males have more hours than females do on social media, because
you know what? I come across with that from both genders.
Really?
From both genders. Some people just, they have a lot of free time maybe at that particular time, and you want to interact, and I try to be polite and reply to everybody as soon as possible whenever I can. But some people take it as, wow, we can just hang out here, in the social space,
I don't know you.
People don't even realize I might be driving sometimes, which I try not to be distracted, or I might be in a set or in the middle of something, and, it's not always convenient. And then I just know, like, I have to just stop it, I can be polite and reply quickly, but then I'm very straightforward about saying, like, hey, I'm actually in the middle of something right now. So please, to those who follow me, I appreciate, guys, all your likes, all your sweet messages, but just sometimes, let's just be kind of keeping in mind that we have very busy lives.
Right, very busy lives.
I promise. If I share my schedule with you guys, you'll be like, oh my gosh, when are you doing all this? And sometimes it's challenging. So, but I also know, like, I've learned so much interesting things about you. So you're a designer, you're a web designer as well, but I also know you're a musician.
I wouldn't go that far, but I can play a musical instrument.
And what kind of music?
I play the cello.
Which I think is super sexy. Like, I actually have seen several performing artists who play cello, and they kind of interpreted music, even like Michael Jackson, and some modern music, and cello just sounds so great.
Yes, I always hear that about the cello. It's the range. It has such a wide range of sound that it is a very beautiful instrument.
When did you start playing?
7th or 8th grade.
Okay.
But I only played up until 11th grade and then stopped, and then restarted in 2016.
Okay. So
almost 2 years.
And you're performing from time to time, right?
Yes. We have our concerts every Christmas and spring, and we do a few gigs in other places. We have competition in Vancouver at the end of May.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to Canada before?
I've been to Vancouver. I have a really hilarious story about Vancouver that I will not share.
Oh, come on. How can you
oh my gosh.
And then not to share?
Searched going into Vancouver once.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was quite...
How bad?
Bend over, cough.
Oh my God. That's horrible. Who would do that?
Yeah. It was quite interesting. They found nothing, of course. I mean, who goes into Canada with anything?
Oh my goodness. And I have another funny story. When I went to the Dominican Republic, I went with a friend who's like you, right? African American, and then me, who's pale like a snow. And we, by mistake, exchanged passports. By mistake, swapped the passports. So I'm going through the border, flirting with a guy in Spanish, whatever 5 sentences I know. He says, enjoy your trip. And I'm there, waiting for my friend. And I see a lady who's checking my friend is giving her a hard time. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, wait and come back. And when I'm coming back, she's like, you have my passport. So imagine how much trouble it was for the guy who actually let me use her passport. And lady who was, talking to my friend, she was doing her job. She was
Right.
like, okay, lady, this is not your passport. You
Right.
definitely don't look like that picture while you're trying to cross the border.
That is funny.
That was funny because sometimes they're like, so, just let it slide and don't care. And sometimes, it's
I'm
why?
sure that depends on certain traits and characteristics.
Well, they give me a hard time in China. I raised hell in China because when I was traveling, I have my contacts. So on the plane, I need to take my contacts off if I'm traveling for more than 10 hours or I have a migraine, like a horrible migraine. And I happen to have an American bottle with like 110 millimeters and their policy was 100 millimeters. But never mind, I only had like 2 millimeters in that bottle. Enough just for one use. And I had a big bottle and, my suitcase, which I checked in. And they were refusing to let me have that bottle on the plane. I was like, it's not 110 millimeters. It's obvious. It's only maybe 2. And do you want me to have a headache, a migraine, and pass out?
Right.
So they were trying to give me hard time about that. My husband was like, okay, you're going to get arrested. We're in China. I'm not going to bail you out. You will never leave this country. You will die in prison.
Over some medicine, right?
He's like, we'll buy you something. He was like, where do you buy it? On the plane? No, So I was like, okay, I want to speak to your supervisor. And the lady was like, I don't have a supervisor. I asked her if she's the president of the country because only president doesn't have a supervisor. Then so we find out who the supervisor was. And, they let me in with my 2 millimeters and a 110 millimeter bottle. And so sometimes it's just unreasonable. It doesn't matter who you are, how you look, like you can be white and they still give you a hard time.
Right. So, I don't even mean that. I'm just saying pretty,
pretty, That's true. Sometimes
pretty gets you everywhere.
Well, sometimes I notice, especially from women, if you're pretty, they might give you some hard time.
It depends.
It depends on the character.
It depends on the woman, maybe.
Yes, the woman. But I sometimes notice that I felt like I've been discriminated just because I was pretty. And somebody was trying to show me my place that just my pretty face is not gonna let me through. It's like whatever the process is. But it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people are just more thorough on their job, some are not, and some have some agenda going on or some difficulties, back home. So, well, but back to you playing. I think it's a great thing. I mean, so do your children play? Do you teach them how to play?
Well, that's a struggle. I have 3 daughters, and they all are talented in their own ways. My oldest daughter plays on her own. Like, she's teaching herself piano. She plays the guitar. Wow. She does play the guitar. She takes lessons. She's been playing that for years. My middle daughter, who's the dancer, doesn't really want to play, but she can play the viola a bit. My baby girl, who's only 7, I tried to get her to play the violin, and she's just not interested. She's more into visual arts and whatnot.
Well, I don't think you should insist. I think some parents, they have this perspective that you should expose your child to everything and let them choose.
Right, and that's my perspective. However, I've noticed the parents who insist, and their kids are doing very well from that insistence. Like the Tiger Mom thing, maybe kind of, So I'm just I'm in limbo where do I make them do this, or do I just let them focus on, or do I help them focus on the things that they like to do?
Well, from my experience, when I was 6, I become very interested in playing piano. Like a music teacher came to our school and said, hey, we're going to start the class. Who wants to play the piano? And I was so determined that I actually created like a board. I just drew the board. I didn't have a piano first week or so. And I was playing on the paper on the desk. And my parents thought it so cute. And they got so, first they said no, because piano costs a couple $1,000, and they said, no, we're not doing it. But then they saw me practicing on the desk, or just, I draw the keys and I was practicing without any sound. They actually said, well, it looks like the 6 years old actually mean it, that she wants it, So they bought me piano. And I was taking lessons for a good 4 years. And then suddenly I got bored with it. And when I was 10, I was like, you know what, I don't want to play anymore. But in Russia, it's a 7-year program. So if you start, your parents anticipate that you will graduate a 7-year music school. And we had a lot of, music theory, singing lessons, But I just was like, I don't want to do it. And they actually insisted at that point. And I was crying because it was a lot of practice. Like Russian teachers, they're perfectionists, so they want you to practice 2-3 hours a day at least. If you want to be good at it, they will insist you practice at least 4 hours a day. So of course, I'm kind of after school. I have my homework. I want to go play, and I have to stay there and practice for hours, which is super annoying to me. And at 10, you already have your opinions about the things. And at that time, my parents said, you know what, we made an investment. Go ahead and finish it up. You need to learn how to finish things. You started. So, and I did finish, and I actually did pretty well. My teachers were talking about actually me going to like a conservatory or, continued to become a performing artist, pianist. But I chose something totally different because, well, I kind of liked it at the end, but I've never felt passionate enough about it. Like, this is my world. I want to do it for the rest of my life. This is when I feel alive. I've never felt that way. And to be honest, I've never reached the level where what I wanted to do, which is play by ear. I could memorize the notes. I could, learn the music I could read the music sheets, Can I say it right? It sounds bad. So, yeah. But I've never learned to play by ear, and that's something I would always wanted to do.
Right.
And I never felt that I'm talented enough to be actually the performing artist, So after I stopped playing, after I graduated at 16, I've never touched the piano again. So I think, what your dilemma is, if the child is initially interested and they spend quite a few time with it, I think sometimes, yes, it's a lesson in itself. Finish what you started, but at the same time, if you keep pushing, they're probably, they're not really good at it. At least it was my experience, And now sometimes, do I miss it? Yes. Do I need to play piano sometimes? And I think it's a good skill to have. Yes, you see, I have a keyboard.
Right.
But, that was my kind of cheating piano. But I feel like if I have a piano again, and maybe I have a child who I want to teach, I might kind of rekindle my love with piano again. But as of right now, I missed it sometimes, but I don't have that passion about it. So I think you have to be really passionate about
Right,
music.
you do.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about music. Am I passionate about playing it? Not as much, but I play it because it's a great skill to have, and I think it's good for my brain to, be able to read music and play it and all that. I'm not looking to be in anybody's orchestra, but I do enjoy playing it and being able to play it.
And I just keep telling myself, how do you have time for all of this?
I don't know.
But you find the time, and it's great that you have such a great time management skills, but you have a big family.
I don't sleep.
Oh my gosh. So you need to start sleeping. You need to start sleeping.
Yeah.
You see, it doesn't work for me. If I'm tired, I will sleep even if I'm standing.
Yeah.
No, it's not how it works for you?
I just don't have good sleeping habits right now, just because I just try to do everything when I can. So I'll sleep for 3 hours, wake up, do something else. Especially, like, I love in the middle of the night when my house is quiet. When you're supposed to be asleep, that's like the best time to be awake.
Well, and I think sometimes we have our personal rhythm, so like,
yes.
I'm not exactly the morning person. I'm functioning better late at night. And sometimes I am a morning person. It really depends.
It depends. And it's funny because sometimes I'm definitely a morning person, but I'm also a night owl too, and I don't really understand how that works. I can go to sleep at 3 and still be up by 6 and functional.
Yeah, I think for me it depends what projects I'm working on. Sometimes I'm thinking so much about the project I'm in or what's going to happen next couple of days, so it kind of keeps me up and going. But sometimes I'm just exhausted and I can be sleeping 10 hours straight, so it really depends.
I notice though, when I'm crocheting and if I'm sleepy, I just need to stop, because when I go back to it the next day, I'll see an error that I missed. So it's like when I'm crocheting and I'm sleepy.
You can make errors in there?
Oh, yes. And that's one cool thing about crochet. You can hide the errors
You can.
easily.
How can you tell?
I can tell.
Okay, so you actually have to
Yeah.
know what you're looking at.
Yeah. But this one doesn't have too many
I mean,
errors.
to me, it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
I would never know.
Thank you.
Oh, so what else is in the plans for you? We're about to finish, and thank you so much for everybody who listened to us.
Yes, thank you.
I hope you learned something. Especially if you're an inspiring designer. I think it's always great to, to talk to somebody who's already doing it.
Yes.
So if you guys have any questions, please contact Miss
Stacy Jackson at pinkjoycrochets@gmail.com or design@pinkjoycrochets.com.
Yes. And if you like unique one-of-a-kind pieces, especially nice bikinis or swimwear, bracelets, that's what Stacey is doing. Also, I mean, check out your Instagram. I think your pieces are great, beautiful, and they fit everyone.
Yes, they do. And I also teach crochet too.
Oh, okay. So you have classes here in Atlanta?
Yes, at the Southwest Art Center.
Okay. So how can they find the classes if they're interested?
You can go to, oh goodness, I don't know the website, but it's Fulton County Southwest Art Center. And the session, we're about to end our session for spring, but it'll start back up on September.
Okay. And how long does it usually take to learn?
Oh gosh, it just depends on the person.
Okay.
You can pick it up in a day. It doesn't take long. It's just a few stitches.
Okay, so we unfortunately have to wrap it up for today, but thank you so much for everybody who joined us. Thank you so much, Stacey.
Thanks for having me.
Coming over, and check out Stacey's social media and our page, so you can find all the information there. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.